Welcome to Who Yelling Now, titled The Refusal. Copyright Mackenzie. There is a moment that comes after realization. Not the moment you discover the truth, but the moment after you stop explaining it to yourself. The moment you realize the door was never locked, it was selective. And suddenly, the question changes. It is no longer, how do I get in? It becomes, why am I still standing here? Season 3 began with effort. It moved through destiny, it confronted exclusion, and now it ends with a choice. This episode is not about hope. It's not about healing. And it's not about fixing the system. It's about what happens when you stop asking permission to exist. This is The Refusal. Here is a story titled The Line and Its Unnamed Rules. The most violent thing about the line was not that it existed. It was that no one ever explained the rules. Not for entering, not for staying, not for leaving. You learned them through consequences. From the moment you could understand language, the 0.01% was placed in front of you like scripture. Screens, billboards, award shows, headlines. The chosen ones, the athletes who escaped, the artists who rose, the voice who came from nothing and became everything. Look, the system said, this can be you. And so the people entered the line. Not because it was fair, but because hope is persuasive when the alternative is silence. Inside the line, you were told to wait, to be patient, to endure. If you struggle, it was character. If you failed, it was personal responsibility. If you questioned the rules, you were told you didn't understand them yet. And if you succeeded, you touched the 0.01%. You were celebrated as proof that the line worked until it didn't need you anymore. Because the system never loved its winners. It loved what they convinced others to endure. When a winner stopped smiling, stopped obeying, stopped inspiring patience in others, the fall came. Public, brutal, educational, a warning dressed as tragedy. But there were others, those who never entered the line. They saw early what it was. They warned others. They spoke about the cost, the extraction, the quiet violence required just to survive. And for that, they were renamed rebels, radicals, unpatriotic, terrorists. Not because they harmed people, but because they threatened the illusion. They were not punished for being wrong. They were punished for being early. Then there were the most invisible ones of all, those who chose the middle path. They did not dream of the line. They did not believe in the 0.01%. They did not protest loudly or warn publicly. They kept their heads down. They worked devastatingly hard, not for greatness, but for survival without attention. They avoided labels, avoided hope, avoided risk. They knew the price of joining the line. They knew the danger of never entering it. So they chose exhaustion instead. They worked until their bodies broke, until joy felt irresponsible, until rest felt dangerous. They died early, not celebrated, not mourned publicly, not counted. The system loved them most because they required no myth, no reward, no rebellion, just silence. The cruel truth was this: the line was never about arrival. It was about control. The 0.01% was bait. The rebels were warnings. The middle were fuel. And the rules? They were never meant to be clear, because clarity creates choice, and choice breaks systems. And still, some refused. Not loudly, not as heroes. They simply stopped organizing their lives around a line that required their erasure. They did not win. They withdrew consent. Here's a poem titled Voice of the Middle. We who kept our heads down. We were not dreamers. We were not rebels. We were the ones who woke early, worked late, and never asked for more than to be left alone. We did not believe in the line, but we feared the names given to those who refused it. So we chose quiet. We chose effort without hope. We chose exhaustion over exile. They called us responsible, reliable, good workers. They did not call us alive. we gave our bodies to stability, our joy to caution, our years to survival. And one day, we realized we had not been protected. We had been used. This is our voice now. Not loud, not violent, but finished. So, what happens when you are no longer measured? I am no longer measured by doors that never open, no longer ranked by doors that required my silence. I did not fail to arrive. I chose to leave. I laid my ticket down. I stepped out of line. I stopped performing patience for a system that fed on it. I am not late. I am not lost. I am finished waiting. And in that refusal, I finally began. If the world requires your permission to exist, what happens when you stop asking? Season 3 ends here, not with answers, but with a choice. Thank you for being with me this season. See you next season, and keep your yelling voice strong. This has been Who's Yelling Now? I am Olga Foreign, and see you next season. Thank you.